Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Keeping it real with Reverend Laura.
What are the obstacles to joy? And so some of the things that get in our way are the things that we create within our own selves. That's generally what stops us. So things like fear, stress, anxiety, those things can inhibit our experience of joy. Frustration and anger, usually directed towards somebody else, that inhibits our experience of joy. And we have sadness and grief that can inhibit how we feel grief in different situations. And then it goes even a little bit deeper where we feel despair and that profound loneliness. These kind of things can help us, can hinder us from experiencing the fullness of joy. We believe that joy is actually a quality of the divine, and it is something that is much more deeper than any kind of happiness could possibly be. We can experience joy in the midst of tragic situations, in the midst of the most painful things we have ever experienced in our lives. We can still experience that supreme joy. Think of it this way. Many of you can relate to this. Think of a mother having a child. Now, there's not much more pain in the world than goes on when a mother gives birth. I haven't done that. I've witnessed it. I've heard lots of secondhand accounts of it. That is some of the most profound pain. But the instant that baby comes into this world and you hear that first cry, there is no other joy like it. No other joy in the world exists like that of a mother hearing her newborn's first cry. Pain can be there, but in the midst of that pain, in the midst of that sorrow, there can be the most profound joy. I recently was in Tennessee with my father as he was passing. And he spent 7 days. It was 7 days after they took him off of life support before he made his transition, which is what we call moving on to the next incarnation. And I made a playlist of my father's favorite music. So I'm in Tennessee, right? So my father loved the Grand Ole Opry. And so I had 8 hours of Grand Ole Opry music and country gospel. And I would listen to it over and over and over again, just keeping it on play. Nurses would come in and out, and they're like, "Oh, I love the music. It is so wonderful." I happen to like oils, essential oils, and so the place was filled with the smells of the most exquisite essential oils and blends of oils that I could come up with. The nurses would come in. I got to come in here for a minute and just smell this place because it smells so good. Now, you can imagine a hospital room where someone is dying doesn't usually smell good. This was really good. It was a very profound, very peaceful time for me, and I was filled with so much joy. My father lived a wonderful, expressive life, and I know that he has returned to the arms of my mother, and so there is nothing but joy to celebrate in this. Profound sadness, profound grief, and yet in the midst of it, this most amazing joy that could ever be experienced in life. This is how joy shows up in the divine. We have these things that stop us, but there's so much more that can bring that expression of joy through us if we just take time to be conscious in the moment and not spend all of our energy dwelling on the negative aspects of it, but look for the positive in there. I mean, I could have sat there and with my father and been crying the entire time, but I wasn't. I created an experience. I created an experience for him, for the rest of my family, and certainly for the nurses and the aides that came into the room. It was an experience of profound and deep joy.
Keeping it real with Reverend Laura.